Big Wes, and welcome to my OnlyFans site. I'm, I'm kidding. We're in a pod hotel. Erica said it looked like an OnlyFans. Or do they have channels, or I don't know what they do.
Well, it's usually someone sitting on their bed or doing something in their bed, like doing some things. And Big Wes, I'm telling you, Big Wes sounds like perfect for that.
Well, we are in a pod hotel, so I am sitting on my bed right now. This is Untethered. I'm Wesley Green. We're at a pod hotel here in Penang, Malaysia. That's not going to be the whole episode, but I want to show you the pod hotel. I know they're not new anymore, but I still think they're neat. They're not common. I've stayed in them before. This is probably the nicest one I've ever stayed in. I'm joined by Erica today.
Hey, y'all.
How y'all doing? So I'm gonna. Well, we can chat for a minute. I'm gonna put together the camera because I'm gonna show you the little pod. Show you a little bit of the hotel, although not too much because it's lots of private here. Although in the communal areas, there's no people walking around in towels and stuff like that, so it should be fine. But then we're going to walk downstairs because the hotel is just above a food court, and it's a local food court. We're outside of the city center. We were earlier we were in the Colonial Center, and we just had a holiday, and that got really expensive, and we had some adventures, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. We should probably list off the things we want to talk about. We kind of mentioned China, what's going on with that, though. Huge update because we're still waiting on the holiday. What happened last night? Got to talk about that. What else? Anything? Maybe that's it. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys one thing when I get the camera together. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but I call them the Hong Kong outlets. So these super outlets, which you tend to run into when you hit better hotels. And I'm going to show you my traveler's junk drawer that I carry with me wherever I go. Erica, should we start off talking about what happened last night? Because it was kind of traumatizing. Not really.
Oh, my God, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I booked on, I think it was Saturday, the 30th, whatever day the 30th was. I booked a hotel, and I've been staying in for the first week here in Penang. I was staying in Little India. Little India is a lot of fun. You should definitely go there, and there's probably some nice hotels there. I don't know because mine was not. The people were so nice there, but boy, the hotel was not clean. They didn't clean it once the whole time. It had never been cleaned from the look of it. The room, I mean, before I got in there, saw one mouse. Yeah, I didn't like that. So I was gonna go and splurge on a $27 a night. Also, there was there's nothing else available. 27 was the cheapest hotel that I could find, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend $27 and stay in a nice. It was looked pretty nice anyway. Hotel, and then when I got there on Monday, which was, I guess that was Labor Day, right? International Labor Day. And I have since learned it was also coinciding with the Malaysian New Year, so that would be why it's so crazy. But when I got there yesterday morning, they were like, "Oh, we don't have your booking. We've never heard of you," and I prepaid for it and everything. And I was like, "Well, this is not totally new to people who travel a lot, so it's an annoyance." But I thought, that's all right. We'll find something. I'll just go out and look. And so I proceeded to search and book another hotel. I got a refund, by the way, for the one, so that wasn't terrible. But I searched for another one, booked another one. It took half the day to get out there because it required transit, and it was a holiday schedule, and the transit here is not very good anyway. And so the same thing happened at that hotel. And that was you may not know the brand because it's a Asian brand, but it's Oyo, OYO. It's it's a big, company chain of hotels. They're about as low as a hotel chain, on luxury level as you can go, but they're consistent, I guess. Um, but anyway, yeah, I thought that one would be fine because it was a big chain, and nope, got there and they're like, yeah, we don't know anything about this. We don't have your booking, and I prepaid that one too. I mean, it was just like a couple hours before I got there, but so starting to worry. Then I tried to get somewhere else and couldn't because the transit had shut down. And I tried to find places. I wasn't going to book anymore after that. And I started calling places, and I had called a few before anyway, but started calling places and trying to find something. And the search went on and on, and eventually it became obvious that there were no hotel rooms on the island of Penang, or maybe in the whole state of Penang, because there didn't seem to be a lot on the mainland side either. Anyway, I guess that was the long way of saying I failed to find accommodations last night. So me and my luggage spent the night at a bus stop in the Colonial District. I couldn't even go to an all night restaurant. I tried McDonald's, but they closed it too, and that's when I found out. No, the COVID rules. All night restaurants are not doing all night anymore. So yeah, so I couldn't sit at a restaurant. I couldn't find a hotel. Everything was booked, and I ended up sitting all night. Well, I take it back. McDonald's had their um, places open until 2 a.m. So it wasn't all night, but I could sit there till 2. And then I took a cab into town. Another expense I had hoped not to have, but I took a cab into town and just sat at a bus stop for the next 4 hours, from roughly 2 to 6,
Hmm.
and I did a
And
little bit of walking around in the night,
it
and
rained.
it did rain a little bit, yeah, but
That just added
uh,
to it. I was already worried, and then I was like, "Oh my god, he's out in the rain at night."
well,
And
I can't remember when the rain was in, but I do remember texting you or messaging you and going, and it's raining.
right,
Like, one more thing. Can I not enter the studio? Okay, I can enter from my phone. Yeah, so that was not a pleasant experience, but you know what? It's one of those things that I have always been really terrified of, like not having a place to lay my head at night, which is kind of crazy because um, I've been the drunk in a bar or a club. Okay, that sucked. Okay, I have to be able to. Okay, sorry about that. I have no idea why I was unable to remove the audio from my phone.
It was like a
Erica, can you
crazy
hear me now?
remix. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. But it was like it was like Big West Club Edition now.
Yeah. Well, I guess it kind of was. Well, that's strange. So I'm gonna have to turn this on and this off at the same time. Bizarre. Okay, I don't understand computers. I thought I could just mute it. Like, why could I not mute it? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So last night was sucked. It really sucked. Um, but I was saying it's one of those things I've always been just really terrified about ever since my father gave me the boot when I was 20 years old. I think that's where it comes from. I've always been afraid of losing everything that I own and being without a place to sleep or call home, I guess. And in the past 2 years, both of those things have happened to me. Now, granted, last night was just one night, but I'm kind of like in that situation since January that I don't have a place to call home. It just happened to have been able to get hotels, in the interim. Um, and it was a good thing. Is the strange moral of the story. I mean, it wasn't pleasant. Like, I don't recommend it, but just to have that, like, it's a facing your fears kind of thing. So, like, I've always been afraid of that, and then I get out there and go, it's not pleasant, but I didn't disintegrate. I'm still alive. The next day, you just take a shower and move forward. And also, it was really hard to complain because there I'm sitting waiting a few hours and oh god, when is this going to be over? And when it got really creepy, I got up from the bus stop and took a little walk. And even though it's nowhere near as prevalent as it is in the United States, there were some people sleeping on the street, and it was obviously a regular thing. It wasn't like they just got locked out of their hotel. They lived there. And the guys that do the little pedicabs, a lot of them were sleeping in their cabs. So it was hard to say, oh, how awful for me. My hotel didn't find my booking. The
Oh
worst
wow. So
thing.
wait, the guys that were in the little pedal things, that's what you're talking about? The ones that they carry people around in the city for like tours?
Mm-hmm.
They were sleeping in uh their what are they called?
I call it pedicab. I don't know that they have it any other kind of special name here.
I mean, but that's like, just sleeping in an open adult stroller, basically. I mean, it's just open. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's sad.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely sad. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So it put things in perspective, and I was just like, you know what? I bet I can wait a few hours and then go take a shower. And then when I got here, of course, before I even checked in, because the pod with a big communal bathroom, I was just asked if I could take a shower, and it's not a problem because you can just walk in. You don't need a room to check into to do that. So I cleaned up, and man, did my feet stink. Whoa, I mean, my feet are awful anyway, but because I had been, in shoes and socks, walking, doing a lot of walking for roughly 24 hours. Um, yeah, that was not pleasant. And I mean, I was pretty sweaty and disgusting clothes. So I was glad to get a shower this morning. Um, but then after I did, it's like, okay, it's all over. On to the next thing. Not as much something to be concerned about as I had feared. But that was last night, and that was it wasn't pleasant. Not shooting for that again. In fact, speaking of which, I'm so delighted with this place. I'm hoping I can stay here just until my flight leaves, or bus, however I get out of here. But whichever one, this place is great. It's like you're turning down space, but you're turning up a lot of benefits. In fact, I'll get to showing you this right now. Oh, something Scott never really bites on. I don't know if he doesn't like the music, but we do have music selections. I wonder sometimes if
Yeah.
it's not a little nicer to listen to that. Like, I feel like lo-fi is probably the right way right now. Do you think?
That's what the kids like, I think, these
This feels like
days.
a
They like
lo-fi
that
situation.
lo-fi. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna turn it on. We're gonna see if it adds in. So I'm gonna have to myself out. Is that how this works? Let me see if I can make this work because I need to switch back to the camera. So I have to close this and hold on to this. And I just call myself out for Big West. You're not here anymore. Okay, Eric, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. That was the best timed battery death that ever happened. I didn't turn the computer off. It just battery just died.
Oh, good. Then you didn't have to solve the problem of the reverb dance studio thing of I don't know, it was a Wesley remix.
Nope, I did not. How do I get rid of me? Move Big West. Bye, Big West. All right.
Bye, Big West.
Okay. For some reason, I felt with the computer it needed to be Big West. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around. And we're going to see this exciting hotel room. All right. Okay, well, you get a mirror. And you get a TV. This is an Android TV. And I don't understand what an Android TV is, but if you know what that is, you can use it. A lovely remote. And I've been watching my computer anyway, so I'm watching the computer. I'm getting so old, I don't even want to learn the terminology. I just watch the computer. And this is it. The whole thing. You get a nice comforter. I'm sitting on that right now. A couple of pillows. They have double sizes of these. And this has got my little bag here. It's got my towel and toothbrush and stuff like that. You normally have. Just like a regular hotel room, you get water. The hand sanitizer is mine. You get a little bottle of water here. I don't know if they're going to replace that every day. I would like for them to. And that's your key card, just like a regular hotel. You got USB outlet. I'm not going to do that. That's what that is. You can turn on the AC. It's really cold in here, so I just turned it off. And what else we got? And your lights, and that's about it. I can think of a few things I could add to this, but it's really nice though, and little safe.
Oh, look at that little safe. Oh, and up there on the wall, that's
cool?
fans, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you were asking about that earlier. So this,
Yeah.
you explained this one on this side is where your AC comes in, and it is oxygen too. And this one over here is, yep, exactly that. It sucks out the air and circulates it so that you don't suffocate and die. And I even have a little emergency fire. I mean, if a fire starts in here, I think I'm screwed, but I got the thing anyway. What else? Okay, and then I wanted to show you, which is completely has nothing to do with this hotel, but I just don't know if you've ever seen them. I call this the Hong Kong, because they have them in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong super outfit. See this? It looks kind of random, but since I've got my traveler's junk box, which every traveler should travel with, that is an adapter for the American outlet. And I don't have a 3-prong, but if you did have one, you can see it accept that too. And the American one goes in. Right? This is the British gigantic. I don't know why that's so big. This is just a splitter for more, but which it actually belongs to the hotel. They give it to you to check in. But anyway, yeah, that's the British one, and it's gigantic. And it plugs into it. Okay. Now there is nothing that Hong Kong uses that uses all of these. This is the purpose of it, to adapt to everyone. So here's the European one. Two small columns. Okay, so that one fits in it. And then finally we have the Chinese version, which is more of a triangulated thing there. 3-prong. And it also fits.
Okay, that's super cool.
Isn't it? I've always loved that. I always wanted to show somebody how cool that is. I mean, this one looks like it actually takes a couple more, maybe. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting excited. I don't know. I can't tell what all of these do, but yeah. So that's the Hong Kong Super Outlet. No matter what kind of, and they do use them all over Asia. I'm sure it's not. It's just the first place I ever saw was Hong Kong, so I always called it the Hong Kong Super Outlet. Because they've got international travelers from everywhere that connect to China. Europeans are coming all the time. Americans are, of course, and they're famous for electronics. So all sorts of plugs end up in Hong Kong, and yeah. So they just made these outlets to where. Actually, I should say on the Hong Kong one, they've got, this is just one, but on Hong Kong, normally you've got two. They've got this really super big one with this, and then one flipped over on the other side, so you've got two that accept everything. So anyway, wow. Yeah, I thought.
I've got to show Jacob that. I wonder how it's wired and how it because each plug from any different area. Do they use different voltage or something like that? You know what I mean? Like
they do. This is a 220 volt, and it cannot. The outlet itself is 220. Period. It can't do a different one. So if you've got an appliance or something that is going to freak out if it gets a different voltage, then you still can't use it. This is just about the physical.
They better have a disclaimer on that one, because people always screw up something. But I love this little outlet.
They do, as long as you've got something like this that is, I forget, this is not called it. I think the physical is called adapting, and it's called a transfer. Well, I used to know electricity terms, but I don't anymore. Anyway, it's a converter. That's it. So it can convert the 220 to 110 or whatever you need. You get as long as you've got the one that came with your electrical appliance, then you'll be okay, because it's designed to do that. But if you've got something that just plugs directly in, and there's not something like this that does that conversion, or this is one. If you don't have that, then you're going to end up blowing something up. I destroyed a electric razor that way when the first time I went to London.
Oh no!
I know, it's terrible. All right, what's our next thing? What's our next topic of discussion? I'll get my earphones out and switch to.
Are we going to look at the rest of the place, or are we going to talk about what's happening with the rest of your time there and then China?
We're going to do both of those things, but I have a second before I can get up and head out. So we can talk a little bit about China. I don't actually think it's going to take long. It's a holiday is the problem. The Labor Day holiday internationally, so even China is closed down, although I don't think they're closed all week. She said Wednesday or Thursday they should be able to come back with paperwork. And also she said they don't need to physically send it to me. They just need to send, she needs to get it, and then she'll send me an electronic copy. So that really cuts off several days of maybe even a week of waiting.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm delighted about that. But I'm trying not to count too many chickens yet, because she said, I don't know if that's because
looking at my pajamas wadded up in the corner. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know if it's because she talked to them or she's just intuiting. Sometimes she could think things are nearly done and for no good reason, because she sent me a screenshot and it was a 3-part, approval process, and we were through parts 1 and 2 already last week. But she said, and she was sending it last week to say, they may have it done by Friday, but that did not happen. So she said that it would be this week, hopefully Wednesday. So I'm trying not to get too excited, but if it is Wednesday or even Thursday, then I can take that and finish out what's the online forms to get the work visa, and take it up to the consulate, and hopefully get that started this week. And that will be back by the end of next week. They only take, I think, the maximum of 4 days once you turn that in. So by the end of next week, I could be looking for flights. Well, actually, what's going to happen is as soon as we get the approval and she sends me the electronic copy of it, we'll look for flights then. We have to book them as usual. We have to book them before we apply for the visa. Pay for that. The flight she was sending me was $6,000. So pay for a $6,000 flight. We're not going to get one that expensive, but pay for a $6,000 flight, and then let me flip this around for just a sec. And then we'll tell you if you can come in. But at this point, it's I don't want to jinx myself, but it's as long as we get the approval from China, the visa will be fine. That's not the hard part to get. So as long as we've got that back from the office in Yueyang. It's so strange that it's a local office too that issues these, but okay. So it's a little office in Yueyang will issue the invitation letter, and once we get that, the visa is not. I mean, they generally don't. Famous last words, but they generally don't decline you if you have all your paperwork. They don't look through it and go, "Hey, I don't like this guy." Now I say that, but one of the first things that happened after Vietnam told me I had to go was I went to the embassy of Cambodia in Hanoi and waited the requisite 3 days or whatever, went back to pick up the visa, and the guy was like, the ambassador decided not to issue it. He didn't want to give you a visa. He didn't want you coming. And I was like, great, that's terrific, thanks. And that's why I had to go to Ho Chi Minh City. But anyway, that's not going to happen this time. We're going to be positive thinking and cross fingers, and they're just going to issue that visa as soon as they get the paperwork. If I go too low, then we lose our lo-fi vibe. But I don't want it to be loud. It's too loud. I'm old now. To be like, turn that music down. I told Scott too, by the way, that he could join us if he wanted to join late. Oh, hello. That's not what we want. Okay. So he might show up. I think we're ready to go. Are you ready to go? Got my little bags with my monies. And here's some to fill out. Okay. All right. Well, so I've been sitting cross-legged this whole time to do this, but normally I just lay down like I'm laying on a bed. One of the things I thought about, it seems unpleasant to be here in this little box, but I can tell you, I think I could stay here all day.
I like the vibe of that.
Because if I'm in a regular hotel,
it looks cool. It looks clean and quiet. I don't know. I like the vibe. I'm getting a good vibe from that place. Also, I live in a box anyway. We have a tiny home, so I'm in a little bitty room talking to you.
When you're in a hotel room, where do you spend most of your time anyway? Sitting on the bed.
Exactly.
It's not a lot of furniture unless you've got some, suite or something. So I'm on the bed with the so why not do it here and pay a lot less?
Right. Even when they give you a desk, I sit on the bed with my computer. I never use anything else in the hotel room.
At that place in Langkawi, I actually used the little desk, but I was afraid the whole time because it was one of those fold out from the wall desks. and it looked like it was going to fall out of the wall. And then I knew they're going to be like, "Well, you wrecked our stuff, and we're charging you." But luckily that didn't happen. But they did have a warning. They're like, "Don't put your luggage on it. It's not stable." All right. Yes, just show me opening. Let's rewind that.
Oh.
So you push the little unlock button, and it just slides right open.
Neat.
That's free on that. Okay, got my little key. And let's switch the camera around so you can see us getting out. Okay. Now I chose the bottom one because I was like, that'll be easier to get into. I'm not actually sure that it is. You're just at the wall now. Okay. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we're being on again. Yeah, I'm going to show you the one. Pod. The only thing that's hard to get in and out is this. See that? You got to climb over that. So I'm not actually easier to get on the bottom. It might be the stairs and climb up into the top.
Well, you probably still have to, like, if you're up on that little last rung of the ladder, you'd still have to do a hop over that that little lip edge part right there. So
Yep.
I think getting the bottom one was a good idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, I don't want to walk through the bathroom camera. Inappropriate. Oh, let's take a walk around. Oh, we did do after dark. So. You can't actually see. There's not much of a view, though. It's just a highway. Not a luxury spot. That's the window. And we're going to go. Now, that door back there is happening, and then you can get to the lockers that way. Or you can do what we're about to do. And go to the other one.
Oh.
That's the lobby. What was my number? 60, I hope?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Oh, it's written on there. So the only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that you have to put your luggage just outside of your just outside of your pod. And he said they've never had any trouble, but don't leave anything valuable in it, which usually it's just laundry, so I'm not too worried about it. But then you have to put your shoes in the locker over here, along with if you're me, your X-rays and medical forms. It's so weird to be walking around everywhere, walking around all over historic Penang in the middle of the night, dragging luggage and carrying X-rays. This is my life. That's strange. All right, and off we go. Oh, and then kind of off. Oh, can't get out. Okay, so we're on the second floor. And they made it sound online like this is just a really bumping food court. It has not been through. Okay, are you back? Are we back?
Yes. Yeah. I
Okay.
knew I just waited a little until you were back on. Oh well,
I
hey,
always
it's a good.
forget to. Yeah, actually, it is hopping now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a look at some of this food. But I'm headed towards the only ones that are not manned. Yeah. Well, this is nice. This is great. I kind of figured it would be busier at night. Let's get around. You're gonna help me pick what to eat for dinner.
Ooh, good. Okay.
All very Chinese. Get some beer. Okay, something in beer. Hi.
Oh.
What?
Oh, let's examine him a little bit later. Hold on.
He's got a nice tattoo. I don't think his stall has. Maybe he's this whole thing. They don't have food out. Sorry, we're pointing down because we want to get the angle on the food.
Yes.
Yep, some seafood. This could be the first. That's fresh. I don't think I can afford seafood that fresh. All right, let's move along. It's not big, but a lot going on.
Right.
Well, I'm not really seeing the food prep. You see they're doing it back there, but they don't have it out where you can see it. Here we go. Noodles. We got.
Okay, regular noodles and rice noodles, rice.
Yeah, glass noodles. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the some. Chicken. Oh, we can see your egg. Yeah. Oh, what have you got? Crummy to roaming? Yeah, show me what it is. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You put it in the window for me. Oh, okay. So we got some little shrimpies, little bitty ones, and chicken, and then these little meatballs here. These are very common in Chinese soups.
Oh.
Good. Okay.
He's really.
See,
That was cute.
It was. Like, let me show you all the stuff they got. I do tend to go with the cutest vendor.
Right. I mean, they'd have me sold on it.
Okay, we got some more chicken and not chicken. I don't think duck. Oh, yeah, no, that is duck. Chicken and duck.
Oh, is duck expensive there? That looks good.
Nope.
It's not? Oh.
Nope, not really. It's not on par. I mean, it's very popular. It's probably not as popular as chicken, but it's pretty popular. Let's see what we've got. We've got chicken rice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Name for it again. Chicken rice, char siu, braised duck rice. I like that.
Ooh, that sounds yummy. Okay.
And chicken feet.
Not my jam.
Not my jam. What? All right. It has to be.
Some people
All right.
love that, though. I mean,
honestly, I've had really good. I've had chicken feet from really good restaurants, and I've had chicken feet from the little place across from us when I worked that first year at the high school in Chenzhou. And the best place ever was the little place across from the high school. I mean, that was really good. Otherwise, I'm not a big fan of chicken feet, but that place and places that cook it like that, the secret is, to me, is all skin. It sounds backwards, but you don't need meat on chicken feet. It's the skin that has the flavor.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think these people are
Oh,
win our cutest.
they do. You gotta do it. They're just so
Okay.
cute. They're just so cute.
I think it looks good. This one right here looks good to me.
Oh yeah, is that a ramen bowl?
That is Hokkien mee.
I can't.
It is ramen. Yes.
It is ramen. Yeah.
And what's this one? Lo mein. Okay. Okay. Lo mein. I think we would call it lo mein.
Yeah. I would do that ramen bowl right there that he's talking about. That looks good. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Yeah. This one. Yes. One. Yes. Let's see if we can film them making it.
Oh, he's showing you. I love these people right now.
Yeah. Can I come there?
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
sorry. Yeah, he's gonna let me film him.
Very cool.
All right, got his sprouts.
Mhm.
And I don't know what those greens are, but they are very common in Chinese cooking. That is the quickest noodle cook ever. I'm the standard, I should say, but like no place else will you see the noodles are ready to go and they just dip them in.
Ah.
Okay. He's doing them dry. That's how they serve them so fast.
Oh, good. This.
And his eggs ready. And we got our spicy broth. Nice. Oh, chili, yeah. Chili. Yep. Good, excellent. Yeah. So he leaves it in the spoon in case you don't want the chili. Get that fast.
Wow, that was good.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Very good. Sure. Oh, he's gonna take it for me. Okay, great.
Oh, I love this guy.
Right here's fine. Oh, water. Pijo, you have beer?
Beer.
Yeah.
What is beer?
Oh, whatever the cheap beer is.
Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that yummy?
Yes. Oh. Okay, what was that he sprinkled on top at the very end, right there? I know the chili.
This?
What, yeah, I couldn't see.
Yeah, these are just dried onions.
Nice.
This
Okay.
is called prawn meat.
What is it?
Prawn meat. Prawn
Ramen.
noodle.
Yeah, right. The noodles. Yeah, ramen.
The
Yeah.
noodle. But then this one, the broth
Uh-huh.
from prawn.
France.
Yes.
Oh.
Prawn. Prawn shell.
Oh, prawns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prawn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, prawn shells. Okay, so it's a prawn stock.
Yes.
That's cool.
The prawn stuff.
What about these? Is that onions?
Yes. This is the shallot.
Oh,
Shallots.
shallots.
Yeah.
Okay, there's just
Shallots.
dried
Oh.
shallots, not onions. Okay.
And
know
then
that.
there's some meat.
Uh-huh. Chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, chicken, egg. Yeah. All right.
So
Fantastic.
where are you from?
The U.S.
From the U.S.
Mhm.
So you're here for food tour.
Yeah, kind of a holiday while I wait for a work visa in China.
So you're to be placed in China too.
Yeah. Getting to China in a week or so.
In a week also.
Yeah, a week or two. Whenever the paperwork comes through. But I'm just here to vacation until then.
So what? One for drink.
Oh, do you have a cheap beer? It's a local beer or whatever.
So yes, of course, all our beers here are local, but then of course it's not going to be as cheap as what you get in the US. Because here we have all the taxes and everything. So
Sure.
a bottle of beer, like the things they are pouring,
Yeah.
it's about 18 ringgit only.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You want those smaller ones? We have corners.
Uh-huh.
The can is 950.
$9.50. Oh, yeah, okay. A can will be fine. Yeah, great. All right, I left you staring at that for a while, so we'll flip the camera around. So a can of beer, how much should we decide? It's $2.50.
Oh, okay. Wait, how much was that right there? Did that say 50? I mean, five ringgit for the meal or 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not bad at all.
Mm-mm.
All right, very good. Oh, I guess I can take this off.
So basically, that and the beer is like $1.90. Because
I
did you say
thought-
the beer is $2.50? Like,
Oh no, $2.50. It's 10 ringgit for a beer.
okay. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
All right.
wow, that beer is cheap. Okay, yeah.
Would be cheap beer.
That's why she was explaining it though. She was like, because something, she was like, this is the beer is this much.
Well, she said they're all local, but I think that she was pointing to a Carlsberg, so I think they don't have a local beer here, which makes sense. Oh, how much spice should I use?
Oh, I would
A
do
lot.
I would do little bits of it all over it because I just want to shovel it all in my mouth. But if you're going to do it like that, how does it taste?
I mean, I think I need to get ready for spices. Hunan is the spiciest province in China. Food is the spiciest, I mean.
Yeah, I would put that all over everything right there.
I would put that all over everything. I think that's a wise decision. I'm just not used to spicy food anymore. Once you're not eating it for a while. I mean, nothing in Vietnam came anywhere near the Chunja level. Although there's so much Chinese influence here that you actually do get a lot of spicy foods. Let's see. There we go. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, it's a stout.
Oh.
That's just for the beer, right?
Yeah, sorry?
That's just for the beer, right?
Yeah, just for the beer.
Okay.
Which part of China are you going?
Hunan.
Hunan. Oh, that's cold.
Well, it's not too cold.
Yeah, not too cold for you, of course.
It does snow there, yeah. Compared to here, it's cold. You're right. They have very hot summers, so when I get there, it'll be hot.
Yes. When you get there, it will be a bit hot.
Yeah.
I'm short of 10. I will come back. Wow.
Oh, okay. All right. Out to remind me.
So the beer was $2.50, and the meal though is 5 ringgit, so it's $1.15 US dollars. Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah. Let's see where it's from. Coffee notes, creamy head, roasted barley, gentle notes of caramel. Oh, all right. Thank you very much. She was here this morning. She's been here all day.
Oh, wait. Connor's Stout Porter. Is that what that is? Connor's Stout? Carlsberg, Malaysia. Inspired by British stout recipe.
Oh, so it is a local beer.
I guess so. Yeah, Carlsberg, Malaysia. Yeah.
Well, great. Let's see what it tastes like. I mean, I didn't particularly think a stout was right for the spices, but beer's not really to be drunk with spicy stuff. Unless your goal is to get drunk.
I don't know, but that it seems kind of healthy to have it with it because a good stout, you know what I mean? And also, well, what did it taste like? Was it Did it taste like a dreamy caramel note, something, whatever it was saying?
Did. I went into a fantasy world the minute it touched my lips. It was actually pretty good. Yeah, tasty. I don't have the I don't know that I have the food chops to describe. I got to describe food, any kind of taste. You know what I mean? You can't help me because you're not tasting it. But.
I know, and I'm such a big foodie, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to. Okay, so
I'll pack it up and send it to you immediately.
I wonder if I could find it at some kind of place here if they like ship it out.
I don't know. I'm really surprised it's a local beer. I don't know why, but I got to be honest. Everything about Malaysia so far has surprised me. I had no idea what to expect, and I just still didn't come in with a blank slate. It's so different than anywhere else in Southeast Asia, except maybe Singapore, and they have a history together, so it makes sense. But yeah, wasn't expecting anything like what I found. The fact that it's so suburbanized, so developed. So auto-oriented. For some reason, I had read about one auto manufacturer that is in Malaysia, but they have at least two. Could be more. I've only noticed two different ones, and I mean, it's not a small country. It's a big country. Transit is more like the U.S., meaning it's not a positive, not a good thing. Chinese influence is very heavy here. That's cultural influence. I don't think they're politically aligned with China. I think they're more aligned with the U.S. But I'm not. My forte is not geopolitics, so I could be wrong about that. But there's a lot of cultural influence here. Are you still with me, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I hate to ask that constantly, but we do get dropped sometimes. Yeah. I really look forward to coming back one day when I have more to spend and more of a plan of what to do when I'm here.
I would love to go back to the jetty, to Chu Jetty, and meet some of the residents and see if they'll be willing to do some type of interview or discuss anything, because that was pretty cool. Okay.
It was a really cool area.
I mean, because from what I could read, that jetty, the 1,500 residents now are descendants of the original people that migrated there.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
And that's just that one. So, each jetty is from a different clan, different surname.
How many are there? 8 or something?
8, yeah. And I think one of them said mixed clan. So, like a few.
That one was called New Jetty, I think. Is that the same one?
I think so, because it wasn't like, a surname. Oh, do what?
This is really good.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to ask about that too. So the right amount of spice plus the.
Oh yeah. I mean, I actually could have. One thing I've noticed about the spices here is they seem really hot when you first start eating, but then it's like the spiciness disappears. It kind of turns to sweet. I don't know. That's a really good combination of spicy and sweet. And they also get 2 different kinds of noodles. I don't know if you can notice it, but there are the lo mein noodles and in Vietnam they call them bun or vermicelli.
Yeah, I noticed that when he was pulling them out of his noodle container.
Yeah.
Probably makes it a better texture to be able to sop up the the stock and to
Oh.
eat it in general.
Maybe. Realizing that you mentioned that I should not put that on the table because I'm going to need to use it. I should eat this stock. The Chinese word for soup and stock are the same. But I can't remember it. I've forgotten a lot of Chinese. Oh yeah, I mentioned Yuri, but he didn't get the message, I guess.
Here, I'm gonna play it. Let's see. Tongue. Is it tongue? For
Tongue?
Tongue?
Oh, Tong, yeah.
Yeah.
T-O-N-G. Tong.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
you're
like
right.
T, and then it's got a long A, but like tongue. Like I don't know. Well, that was the simplified Chinese, and then if I look up the like
T-A-N-G, really?
Yeah, but that was it. Let me see about traditional and see if it says it. Now let me put in stock.
It won't make a difference. It might make a difference if you switch it to, maybe I should say it shouldn't make a difference, if you switch it to Cantonese. But even Google has a lot of trouble like discerning between Cantonese and the traditional Chinese. But the whole Chinese, traditional, Cantonese, simplified thing, it does get confusing, to be fair. Like, traditional and simplified are both, sorry, move thing. Traditional and simplified are both scripts. So that's the written form. But you can speak, you can write Mandarin in either one. So the language doesn't change. So it's Mandarin whether it's traditional or simplified. And the same is true for Cantonese. Cantonese is a different language, and it can be written in both traditional and simplified characters. So just to review how that works, mainland China uses simplified characters and Mandarin or Putonghua, spoken language. So that's the actual language. Hong Kong uses Cantonese and traditional characters. Taiwan uses traditional characters and Mandarin.
Oh.
I think that covers all of them. And then, of course, Mandarin and Cantonese are not the only languages in China. There's also Wu, and in Hunan they use Xiang, speak Xiang, and others. I don't know all of them. There's a good list, but it's more like Europe. It's more like Europe, and the characters that they use are like the Roman alphabet. So it's a little different. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, where is that though? Where are they using that similar to the Roman alphabet?
Oh, well, I meant in Europe.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, wait, what? I was like, where in China is this happening?
But now that you mention it, yes, they do use the Roman alphabet. It's called Pinyin.
Wait, say it again.
P-I-N-Y-I-N. Pinyin.
Pinyin. Okay, when I typed in soup stock, it pulls up. Hold on. Oh, let me see. Gaotong.
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 Okay.
And I can see the difference when I click on traditional or simplified about the way the characters are written. I see what you're talking about because yep, that's neat. But yeah, now I know what to say when I want soup when I come to visit you.
Okay, it said Gaotong, right?
Yeah, Gaotong. Because it was like Gaotong, like that. But it was
Okay, I don't know what the cow would be.
T-A-N-G, but by itself, if I just put in soup, it was just tongue, but not,
Yeah. I'm always insisting that our concept of soup and the Chinese or Eastern concept of soup is a little different. Because when we talk about soup, we're talking about like the whole kit and caboodle, right? But they're never really having soup. They're having noodles. And it happens to be noodles suspended in a broth, or you can order them dry, which I used to do at the place next to where I lived in Gaya. And they eat them with chopsticks because they're going after the noodles. My thing is you can't eat soup with chopsticks. That's why it's not the same. If you're eating it with chopsticks, it ain't soup. My rule, life rule.
I'm still trying to figure out if I can buy Connors here in the States.
You can buy what?
That Connors stout that you're drinking there.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's good beer.
Oh,
Trying to get the camera
apparently
to move.
there was a little there was some announcement for it in this little article, and it says that you could shake the can. I wish I'd read that beforehand. I don't know why. To do something. I don't know why. Yeah, Connors can shake.
Well,
It says
why? I guess you don't know why. And that's the thing you generally don't want to do with beer.
Oh, here's why. Here's why. It's to enjoy a creamy head, which I'm not even going to make a joke about that because it just does it itself. But
It's the low-hanging fruit.
it is.
That's why.
Gosh. Maybe Big West could talk about a creamy head later. But I'm just saying, like,
Tune
look,
into my OnlyFans.
tonight on OnlyFans. Let's discuss Connor's creamy head. But that makes sense because it's a stout, and it's to mimic. If even with the can, instead of you pouring it out of a bottle and it having the head, you have to shake it and it'll make the head.
Oh, that's right. A stout isn't carbonated, so it's not fizzy, so it's not going to explode when you open it.
Right. And so it was just to get the get a little bit of a smush, so it'll make the foam, the head on the top.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting idea. Well, I finally caught on to the internet's advice of pouring a beer so that you do get all the foam, because if you can get that all that air to be released, then you won't be so gassy later. Like belching, you drink beer, go out and drink beers, and you end up belching all night.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that I've done that in a while, but speaking of which, totally random thought here. I really would hope to get a dinner episode, because you tend to go to a lot of dinners when you work at a school in China. I don't know what's changed, but I assume that's still the same. So I'd like to do an episode where we do a big dinner, because like the school will take you out, the owner of the school or something, and you'll have a big dinner with the other teachers, maybe some parents, something like that. It's a grand banquet. It's worth getting on camera, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm down for a fancy dinner. I love it.
All right. There'll be lots of food and lots of baijiu. And then I'll break the camera probably. Well, anyway, I thought this was I think this will be a good place to eat for the remainder of the time here. I really wish we could have done more tourist stuff in Malaysia, but that one spot we tried to go to, man, that just blew my mind. And I'm talking about the cable car, of course. And I hated to end that episode without doing it, but at the same time, like, I don't want to encourage or put on the show encouragement for other people to pay ridiculous prices like that. If you find yourself in a tourist trap, don't just go farther into it. Try and escape.
I mean,
it's true for any trap.
People here go to Disney, so.
Well, yeah, I hate it, but that's true. I mean, the amount they charge, and I'm going by what they charged years ago.
Hmm.
I remember the first time I went, it was $34 to get in, and I thought, I guess that's, okay, it's a little much, but yeah, it's worth it. And then the next time I checked, they were over 50, and the last time I went, they were over 100. I mean, there's just like no limit. There's no shame in that game. They will charge whatever.
Yep. Yeah,
I,
because now one park, just the base pay for one park is like 120 to 170 for one day.
wait, 120 to 170?
Yeah, for a park per day, and per park per day. If you're going to do it, separately, you know how sometimes you can get a package and it might end up being like 100, 120 each.
Right.
But for let's see, I'm looking at it right now. For 4 days, if you go for 4 days, it's 450 to 600 to go for 4 days, one park per day. So I mean, are they saying, do you get a pass and then you get to go to 4 different parks if you're at 4 different days? Or I don't know, because I'm just looking at this like, wow, that is a lot of money for me to wait in line around a lot of people to get on a ride for like 2 seconds. So, because I've been there 3 times, but it was with other people and I was younger, and then one time with Bill, right? And it was just our time there was pretty good. And then the other time now with Daddy, it was the best. After Mama died, we were all supposed to go when Mama was with us, and we were like, well, we had already gotten the tickets, and so it was bittersweet. It was really weird to be there, but it was in December. She died in October, and we went in December, and it was nice because it felt nice outside. It wasn't, horrible sweltering heat, and not as many people were there, so it was the best time. But that was also a lot cheaper because they did one of those packages where they went and looked at a timeshare and stuff like that long before they even booked it, so they got a big deal on it. And so I mean, because when I went with Bill, it was $500, and we went to
just for the parks.
Yeah, we went to 3 different parks, and it was $500, and then we just stayed at a really cheap hotel, and that's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I mean, that was
It is a lot of money.
And when I looked into it for Jacob, this is what was great. Jacob said, well, when I graduate, I'm going to take a couple of my friends to Disney. We'll go to Disney. I was like, you sure about that? Let's go ahead and look it up. And he was like, ugh. It was going to cost $5,000 for him to go with his friends for 5 days to stay in a decent, not even like, like just not a nasty rundown hotel, and go to the parks and go to do what they wanted to do there. And I was like, yeah, see, no, you could have a used car. You could go and, be at Disney.
Well, presently, the world is not in a state that you ought to be trying this. But if fares go back to, what they were, and they may not, but if they do, you can fly round trip to Asia for under $1,000, or for Southeast Asia, maybe right at $1,000 per person. And then, a few $100s, again, assuming things go back to the way they were, you can $500 can cover most of your trip. I mean, if you're smart about it, if you don't pay $20 for a cable car ride.
I mean, even if you wanted to have like one expensive day, just doing something that was extravagant, Now, if they were going to promise me that I could have that cable car ride and that dinosaur thing would jump out at me and dance a jig for me, yeah, sure, I'd be down. You know what I mean? But,
I mean, if that had covered anything you wanted to do, you could have something in favor of it. But they included the cable car and 2 things that we didn't even see. They weren't even listed. It was like stamp museum or some bullshit.
Stamp museum.
Nothing you wanted.
You could select what you wanted to do for the 20-something, and that because it was going to be $25. If you could say, yeah, okay, if I get 2 things that I would like to do with the cable car, like go visit the genie and get my wishes. I don't remember what the thing was, but we were gonna, go to another world with that thing. And then,
right, that thing, yeah.
And that
was not on
that museum. There was like a 3D art thing, right?
The 3D art museum, yeah, that wasn't on them.
Right. So I'm like, okay, then no money for you people.
Right. And the other thing was, like, you're taking the cable car to get to the top of a mountain, and there's 2 attractions up there. Those were charged separately. So you pay $20, get up to the top, and they're going to charge you more money. Now, they were a lot cheaper, according to the internet. But I noticed when I did the search, just like I did before, and I said, well, what did I do wrong that I didn't see this $20? I type it in, and I was looking, trying to find out what the price was. That cable car price was not even mentioned. The two things at the top were mentioned, and they're like 5 and 6 ringgit, which is, cheap.
Right.
That would have been fine. But yeah, the cable car, they didn't even mention the price. That's why when I got there and I was like 83 for a combo ticket, and I still stood in the line because I thought, there's got to be just a ticket for the cable car, which can't be more than a couple of dollars. Nope, 20 bucks. No, thank you. To be honest, in the future of the show, I don't really want to do stuff like that anyway. That kind of stuff is easy to find. I'm not saying that I want to find like the most out of the way stuff, but I do want to find stuff that a bit off of the list. If it's just the top things on the list, the number one tourist attraction, then everybody's already doing that. The thing is, like, I'm here in the blogging game late, although I'm live streaming, so that's kind of different. But I'm kind of here late, so I don't want to just repeat the things that 50 other bloggers have done. I want to try and find something new and unique. But while we're in China, it'll be just the top 10 list, because the only people you see in China doing blogs they're in Beijing or Shanghai. Beijing, Shanghai, or not in mainland. Because people they go there for a few days and they're like, and China's just too big and too intimidating, and they're just like, yeah, I can't do it. So they're either broadcasting like a regular show from one of the cities, which is still probably going to be Beijing or Shanghai, or they just do a couple of episodes and show a couple of things that just skim the surface, and then they're out. And China's just too big to do that. So that's why I'm hoping that working there, obviously that's what I'm doing anyway, but I'm hoping that working there and traveling on weekends will allow me the flexibility to go places and see things that other channels don't have.
Yes. And also, like, when you encounter certain people, and it's not just focusing on you or trying to, be some like influencer or something, that you're actually gonna, look into some things that are actually going on in there, the history of it, or like just the locals and everything, and that you end up interacting with them, and and you speak to them normally too, and they would appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of people when they do their videos where they baby talk people in various Asian areas, and that just makes me want to bitch slap them. And
that deserves the cringeworthy title to me. I see that, and I've known people that do it, and I get why they do it. And if you know someone is just learning English, it's not a bad idea. But it's according to where you're at. Like here, I would never do that because English is common. It's not the number one language, but man, I thought when I went to the other parts of Southeast Asia that English was common, like Cambodia. I thought a lot of people in Cambodia spoke English. I was surprised. Here, it's a second language. So you'd never do that here, but a lot of people get in their heads, they hear an accent, which doesn't mean you're not a native speaker. So they hear an accent and they go, oh, well, I got to slow down. I'm going to talk to you like you had a brain injury. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Even if you're a learner, unless you're really just getting started, it's important to learn the pace of the language. So the rule, just my English teacher and me coming out, the rule is say it once normally, say it once slowly, and then say it once normally again. Because the pace is almost as important as what you're actually saying.
Right.
But people get it in their head that they have to talk slowly and enunciate everything. You want to enunciate, but you don't want to over enunciate. Because then you just look like you've got a head injury.
No offense to people with head injuries watching.
No offense to people with head injuries. I've
But-
had friends with head injuries. But.
And I've had a head injury. But slowing it down does not help them understand a damn thing that you're saying. It makes it worse.
You know, my father's side of the family is deaf, and my aunt would always say, when people find out she's just talking to somebody she's just met or whatever, and they find out she's deaf, they'll speak really, really loud, and she goes, you know, I'm still deaf. I can't hear. Unless you're, you know, shaking the ground. I'm not getting it. But yeah. If you don't understand, the other thing is that, like, when someone who is just learning and they don't understand a word you said, a lot of people can't think to switch to a synonym or just explain it a different way. They'll just keep repeating the same thing. I'm like, she didn't understand it the first time. She's not going to understand it the next 10 times you say it. It's some word in there she doesn't know.
Right, and use a context clue, or use like your hands, or show them something while you're saying something, or anything other than just repeating the same word.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people don't know. Well, especially if they don't travel a lot, they wouldn't know. You know.
You know, our little group in Chenzhou was pretty good about that. I'm sure we'll talk plenty about Chenzhou. Just for anybody who's watching in the future, Chenzhou is the town I spent more or less spent 5 years in. I did live in Yueyang for 1 year, so I guess 4 years in Chenzhou, but Yueyang is just in the middle. I moved up there. Yueyang is where I'm going back to now. So they've offered me a job, they actually offered me a job pretty early on in the pandemic, and I just didn't want to leave Vietnam. I just was like, you know, as long as the world is crazy and I can stay here, I'm going to keep my ass planted in this country. But that ended in January. So I took them up on their offer right away. And it has taken this long to get the paperwork done. And that's what this whole show is about. When we get to China, I hope to shift to more of a travel focus. Like once I get settled into the job, I'm going to do a few episodes, like probably the first month, like before I get a paycheck. We'll just be showing, you know, regular life around Yueyang, and maybe I'll show you guys the school. I think doing a school episode would be fun. Show you around the town a little bit, and then after I do get that first paycheck, I will start traveling nearby places first, and you know, like just on weekends, and then as we you know progress, we'll see, you know, all of Changsha. That's the capital of Hunan, and then the next place would be Wuhan of coronavirus fame.
Of coronavirus fame, I absolutely want you to say that again when you're like introducing it. Just and
You'll remember Wuhan for such famous episodes as virus that commanded us.
Oh God!
But it's supposed to be a nice town. I've only flown into it and took the train out, so I've never really seen Wuhan. But it's supposed to be it's a big city. It's where my my personal consulate for the U.S. consulate. It's supposed to be, but the whole time I was there, it was non-functioning, and I'm not sure it's up and running now. So I have to go the other direction. But whatever. Anyway, it's a big city.
You know, I think it's a really good idea to mention yet again, that these U.S. embassies, these consulates, it is absolutely not like anything you see in the movie where people are like, oh my God, there's a huge tragedy. I must run to this embassy. They're going to save everything, and they're going to contact the states, and they're going to fix every single thing ever, because they don't. That's something.
No, you send them an email, you're like, emergency, my hair is on fire. Jesus, please help me. And then a week and a half later, they're like, the U.S. Embassy can do nothing at all ever. We just kind of sit here. Thanks for your interest. Hope you don't die. And that's what they said when coronavirus started. The one alert they sent out was, we out this bitch. They're like, we're not doing anything and we're closing down. So you're on your own if you don't get out.
Oh God.
Which at that point when it first started, I was like, no big, so whatever. You're all overreacting. I'm going to the beach. That didn't turn out well.
I know.
Oh, no.
But I'm pretty
Well, I
sure
guess
that the embassy, consulate, anything that's like government oriented over there regarding us here is probably only there for people who have money.
Well, yeah, I think I told you this before. Like when I first got there, I signed up for the the emergency list, and I sent them my email address and information, and so of course they send you emails, and I expected it to be things like alerts, this happened, or please use caution when traveling to this place. Every bit of it was like, if you'd like to get your business needs taken care of, come to this meeting or that demonstration, or like all sorts of events for business people. That's it.
Yeah.
That was all I got from them. They didn't say anything else at all. And then when there was an emergency, I mean, they were just flat out, yeah, we ain't doing nothing. And Vietnam too. I said when all that happened, I was like, this is kind of crazy. Can they not go to the Vietnamese government and say, hey, you didn't leave enough time for our citizens to get out. You're charging them overstay fees, and you didn't give them any warning. Like, I know they can't make the Vietnamese government do anything, but you would think they could like just mention it. I wonder what I did with my mask. I feel like I lost my mask. I did. Anyway, I just realized that. Anyway, yeah, but they didn't. They were just like, you got to follow all the rules. That was all it said. It's up to them. We can't do nothing. Well,
right, because on their website it was just like, well, yeah, they said go, so well, bye.
They said you got to leave last week. So what are you gonna do? So that was no help. So I didn't even think. Actually, honestly, they were my last resort anyway, because I've just had to deal with them a couple of times in China, and you get the distinct impression that if you are not a business, then they don't want to have to deal with you, and if you do have to deal with them, then they're going to charge you a lot of money. I had to get a stamp, just a stamp, not the personal signature, the stamp on a piece of paper one time at the consulate. They charged me $50. It's like, yeah, great service, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad someone doesn't support you with tax money. It's not my tax money, but somebody's doing it. You think they could put a damn stamp on a piece of paper? But anywho, I'll have to deal with them within the next few years too. Because strangely, I got a brand new passport when I first got to China, and I'm due for another one in a couple of years, 4 years. I guess that's not a couple, but
Okay,
it's not too far off.
At least it's enough off for you to not think about it for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it right now. I can't believe that. How did I lose my? I put it in my. I did. I put it in my pocket. Didn't lose it at all.
Yay!
Hurrah! Still got a big pack of masks. All right. Well, I guess that's it. I've been here earlier today, so I know it wasn't that big of a food court. These are pretty common, and I think they're good places to eat, fun places to eat. You shouldn't have much trouble finding them. We're not in the city center at all. We're way out on a highway, and there's just a little development here. There's an apartment complex behind the hotel, and then there's the hotel and this thing, and it looks like there's some other buildings. I haven't really explored it yet. And I gotta be honest, except for whatever episodes we do between now and when I leave, I don't plan to explore. I plan to enjoy the pod because I have to save money. Oh, that's the one thing I knew I was keeping on before so I wouldn't totally forget. I would love for people to join the Patreon, but I need to figure out a way to fund the remainder of my time here. I have enough, I think. I have to check the price to be sure, but I have enough, I think, to get the hotel. But I need, maybe my relative who watches this program would be willing to help feed me till I get out of here. Yeah, I'm running low on cash, but I'm not so worried about it this time. I'm so close to being in China, so close. I know I can get the. You hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
Fireworks. It's New Year's.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the crap? Okay, so if the relative who is watching could help, that would buy the noodles that you've just seen and some, some sustenance until you get to fly to China.
Yeah, I to be honest, I did the beer just for the show. I usually, and most people don't drink when they eat noodles because obviously you've got a big bowl of soup there. It's kind of overkill to have a beverage with it. So and where did I say I go? Oh, so across the street for breakfast, it looks like it's all Cantonese, but at very least it's all Chinese. It's just this morning market that pops up and a ton of served food. It looked delicious. I came here first, and there's one spot that serves a Western style breakfast, which was fine. They didn't do a bad job, but if I'd known that was over there, I would have been like, I don't need toast and eggs. If you go have a Chinese breakfast, get some real meat on my bones. But anyway, yeah, it looked really good. So I'm going to try it tomorrow morning. So that should be really cheap. I didn't do it this morning, but I'm sure it's cheap. Cheap noodles here at night. And yeah, sure, absolutely. Gotta grab in a chair. I'm not sure what to do for lunch yet. I don't want to order in, but it may actually be better because it's better than having to get a taxi somewhere. It's too hot to eat here in the middle of the day. Hardly anybody is here in the middle of the day after the sun goes down. When people come out to these kind of food courts, and the morning market goes away by lunch. So I'm still trying to figure out what to do for lunch. But I feel like I can eat really cheaply, but I'm just so like on the razor's edge of not having quite enough. So yeah, I'm trying if I can find some kind benefactor to help out. But other than that, man, I feel like I'm close. We're gonna get that paperwork in a few days. I'm gonna file for the visa. That should be back next week. After that, the big challenge will be finding a flight. It's such a strange world. That's the thing that's difficult now. How do you find a flight that doesn't cost a gazillion dollars? I mean, the one she sent me was $6,000, and I was like, we'll find something cheaper than that. But I'm not going to agree to. I'm going to tell her if she doesn't find a way to make it cheaper, and there are ways, but she kept resisting, and because the lady I'm dealing with is not the owner, so she's not, one spending the money. So she's like, well, Guangzhou's the easiest. We're like, well, easy for you because you don't have to pay it back, but I got to pay back half of this flight, so we're not going to do the $6,000 one. We may not find a super cheap one, but we'll find cheaper than that.
Right. I don't know what she was thinking because, these were still expensive because I think some were listed at like 6,000 ringgit. So that's still over $1,200 or so, or more than that. So
yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
When we looked before, some were listed at 650, but that was before. Like right when you want it, it's like Murphy's Law for you, especially for you, I swear. Because right when you're like, okay, they got this paperwork ready. It's ready to, we're just this close. And then airlines are like, oh, $8,000, please. I'll take $1 billion and you can get to China.
It's been that way the whole time. When I was in Hanoi, when I first went in and talked to the office, she said, "There's no charge. You just come in here, bring me your airline ticket, and I will stamp your passport, and out you go. No problem." And I was like, "That's fantastic. All I have to do is get the visa to Cambodia." Then I went to the ambassador, and he's like, "Nah, I don't want to give you one." So I had to go to Ho Chi Minh City. I got there and they're like, well, that'll be maybe $700 for the exit stamp, and it'll take a week. And I didn't end up paying that much, but it was still a couple $100 in the end.
Mhm.
And it was just because the guy at the embassy, the ambassador, the guy at the embassy. That's what his tag on his door says, guy at embassy. But he was just like, no, I don't want to issue any. So he didn't, and I had to go to the consulate and said, and then what was it? Oh, it was time. So thank goodness it's got my stamp. It's time to leave. Wait, you can't leave because it's a holiday. So we couldn't. What was they couldn't do? We couldn't process something because it's a holiday. So I had to wait an entire week of just sitting there for the holiday to be over. And that was after a year of lockdown in Vietnam. And I was like, weren't you guys locked down for a year like I was? Or aren't you ready to just skip a holiday and get right to work? No, they were not. Yeah, you're right. It's been that way. It seems every turn. Every turn is like, nah. Booked a hotel 2 days ago. No, no.
No, we don't
Please
even know
sleep
what
at this
you're
bus
talking
stop.
about.
I know. We're like, bookings? I've never heard of that. And it took half the day too because I walked in there and the place was under construction. And I talked to the lady at the front desk and she's like, "Oh, I don't know anything. I'll have to phone the owner." And I was like, "Well, why are you at the front desk if you can't do any of this?"
You're right.
So bizarre. Yeah. Anyway, that's the way it goes. But we're gonna keep fingers crossed that this is it, and we're gonna get right on into China. I mean, a good thing could happen too. You know, I stopped looking at those China flights because they go up and down every day, and you'll just have heart failure if you look at it constantly. So it's not valid. It's not worth looking at until I can book the ticket. So as soon as they come through with the paperwork, we're gonna get on right then. But I do know some like tricks now. Like if the ferry in Hong Kong starts up before before we get the paperwork and are ready to go, I can fly into Hong Kong. And Hong Kong flights were cheap because they're going. I don't know if they're going full, but they've got more flights than anyone else does in China. And I can fly into Hong Kong airport and not cross Hong Kong, what they call it, immigration, and get right on the ferry. There's a ferry you can take straight from the airport to the mainland.
Oh.
So you don't have to, because if you have to go into Hong Kong, you know, you get 2 weeks of quarantine there, and then you cross into China and you got 2 more weeks of quarantine. We can't do that. But the great thing is the ferry, you don't have to do that. They eliminated that years ago because so many people wanted to get cheap flights into Hong Kong and then take the ferry to the mainland. So that's an option if it starts up, but they haven't restarted it yet. They haven't restarted the service.
Well, and I know you don't want to look every day, but I will obsessively look every day at flights because I do it. I just did it when we got online today. So
Well, great. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to keep abreast of it, but it's just like if I look at it every day, I'll just be going, "Oh, why can't we book now? Oh, why can't we book now?" So I'm just gonna wait till we can do it. But I don't know if you looked at Shanghai. Shanghai flights were super cheap. And then I went to look at the trains. I mean, you know, they're in lockdown right now. Went to look at the trains, and they're not running. So that's a no on that one. And then Beijing is another option, although it was a little pricier. But you know, as long as there's some shifting around and we can play with dates, which we can, because I mean, I don't want to stay here for another month, but if it means paying for a $6,000 ticket, I'll figure out a way to hang out in this pod hotel for as long as I have to. Yeah, go ahead. Sure. People come and get in these chairs as chair vultures. Yeah. So that's where I'm at, and I wanted to talk about that a bit before the end of the stream. This is what we're waiting on right now. Honestly, this is more the waiting for China show than it is a travel show right now. I'm in an exciting place. I can't really enjoy it because It's not a cheap place. I went over to that mall today and I talked to one of the real estate guys. They were selling real estate in Kuala Lumpur, and foreigners can buy real estate here. So they were apparently thought I had money because I'm dressed so fancy in the white T-shirt and jogging pants. But they were talking about it. They were selling something in Kuala Lumpur, and I was like, yeah, I honestly came here. Well, I came here because it was the closest place to Langkawi, but also I thought it would be cheaper to be here than to be in Kuala Lumpur. He's like, nah, Kuala Lumpur is cheaper. This place is, as we found out, fairly expensive. I mean, not this place, not like Spawn Hotel, but this town is expensive to be in because it's colonial, I guess. Kind of like Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
If just going by size, it should be nothing special, but because of the type of town it is, it's, homes there selling in the millions and millions of dollars in the historic district anyway.
Property like in Kuala Lumpur, not that I'm the monopoly man and I'm going to go and buy some, property or anything, but is it like inexpensive?
I wonder. Well, they were selling condos in a big tower in the middle of the city. Actually, in a big tower that he said is adjacent to, and they were really pushing this, what will be the second tallest building in the world. So they're once again in Kuala Lumpur building the second tallest building in the world. But it was adjacent, and there was a 4-bedroom unit, and it came out to just over 100,000 US. So that's not bad in a big condo tower for a 4-bedroom.
How much?
It's just over 100,000.
That is not bad. No.
No, not at all.
In my imaginary, other country buying type stuff, like when we were looking at, I was looking at Spain, and I'm like, wow, that's a great deal for this this condo. Look at the natural light in it. It's only $120,000.
Oh, I'm looking in the millions. I'm like, well, this is the steal at $3 million, and then I come down and beg for money on the internet so I can buy noodles. I'm with you on this. Look, I'm saving for a surgery, right? And I'm like, do I really need that? Maybe I want to get this. I saw a condo in Spain, and it was like 30,000. I'm like, no, that's more doable than the surgery, right? Yes. Who needs medical care when you got this view?
But if I was there, if I'm a citizen there, I do get NHS. So I mean, I get health care. I don't think I'd live from now until then to be able to get it. But I mean, it really is comparably, better than here in terms of prices. Like for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here, my sister just bought one for $240,000, right? And that house about 5 years ago was only about $150,000. So everything skyrocketed. So I mean, for $120,000 to live on the coast of Spain in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, that's gorgeous. It is worth it. I mean, if you have the money, and if they finance it, I mean, it's not like you can just grab a mortgage like you do here. You don't have an FHA mortgage there, so I'm not sure how to do it. But I did read that some of them said 100% financing. So my pretend Spanish villa might still happen somehow. I don't know if they 100% finance it and they're like, sure, come over, we love you.
I have no doubt that's going to happen. It's on the way, practically done. Well, my first strategy, strategy is to get into a regular job and pay some people back that I owe a lot of money to. Including the employer. But then strategy 2 is to really invest in this channel. I mean, I want to be able to go and see and do things and put things on the channel and make it worth watching. I mean, we enjoy these episodes because we get to sit and chat. But I want to have a bit more action in the episodes.
Right. I mean, but it's still been fun. I mean, of course, it's been fun for me. I mean, seriously though, you have done some really neat things, even when it's not high on the cost and spending list there. So we still
Right. We've seen some
awesome.
cool stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was worth looking at because these sorts of markets, food markets, are just they're very common in Asia, and they're fun places to go and have a meal. You get such a selection, and the food is cheap, and it's really good. That what I had tonight was super good. So I think it's worth putting on there. And like I said, I'm trying to just like film what's happening while I'm waiting on this visa. And I think I'm gonna try and do another episode this week, and maybe one next week, and we'll see. We don't know when the date is going to be, but I guess that's the whole airfare thing. The airfare is determining everything because it's so outrageous. We have to wait till we can find that one day, that one moment, and do the 15 connections to get into China. But when I get in, I also want to do. I'm already thinking about doing a few episodes from quarantine. It'll be a 2-week quarantine, and it'll just be us chatting. But updates. They may be short episodes, but it'll be
I
little
think
updates.
that's extremely important to let people know what it is like, why it is necessary, what foods you eat, what you do while you're in quarantine, what the people do while they test you there, and anything like that. And I think it's important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think so too.
scary, and
Right.
it's not
Right.
an infringement on people's rights to make sure everyone is safe.
Yeah. Well, we can talk. We can actually do a lot of that talking during those episodes because
Yes.
there won't be anything else going on, but it'll be good to discuss that. I think that's gonna wrap up the show. Do you want to hang around after and chat, or we can just go on WhatsApp, whichever one you want to do?
Oh, let's chat on here. I'm because I'm already on it.
All right, let me run the credits, and then we'll just do a post show, and it'll be trimmed later for anybody. I see we have a couple of viewers watching, so that'll be trimmed later. But I'm going to run the credits. Erica, thank you very much for doing this episode. If you're watching this in the future, this will be the end of the episode for you. So let me remind you, if you've gotten this far, please like and subscribe. Follow me on social media if you're interested in the details of what's going on with my travel. Check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. And what else?
Nope, you did like, subscribe, Patreon. Please send money for noobs. NOODS noodles. Thank you.
I thought we were going back. You said news.
The
I thought we
Big
were going.
West.
Yeah. The Big West.
It all comes back to Big West.
All comes back to Big West. All right. Enjoy the next episode.
Jag heter Peter och de här kommer då tre personer som tar över. Jag är med sig själva i förrun. Men jag kan inte vara det då blir det 5, 4. Den är nu. Jag kan hålla 15 från. Hemma. Nej, kom nu. Ja, jag vet. Jag heter Peter. Och de här kommer då tre personer som tar över. Jag är med sig själva i förrun. Men jag kan inte vara det då blir det 5, 4. Den är nu. Jag kan hålla 15 från. Hemma. Nej, kom nu. Ja, jag vet.